Do you think that you sometimes lose customers because you're just too nice? Do you have lots of conversations with fantastic prospects that you're convinced are going to become great customers, and yet you're just not quite sure, but it all fizzles away and never quite happens? And do you find that you're constantly beating yourself up because you think you are just no good at sales? If this sounds familiar, then my tips for you this week are going to be really, really helpful. I'm going to talk to you about creating a sales process. Now, I know you want to switch off at this point. I know that you think I'm going to talk to you about being really salesy and really pushy, and backing people into a corner and sales techniques and slimy rubbish like that. And I'm absolutely not. The whole point of a sales process is to give clarity to both you and your potential customer. And it's also to make sure that you can present yourself and your business in the best possible way every single time. But it's absolutely not about being pushy or forcing somebody through a process that they can blatantly tell is a process. It's actually about putting together a series of steps that will become very natural to you. So the customer never has to feel they're being forced through a process. You never have to feel that you're being slick or smarmy or a double glazing used car salesman or anything like that. But what's actually happening with all of those conversations that sound like they're going to be a great customer and then it fizzles away, it's almost always because there just isn't clarity about what that next step is supposed to be. So it then turns into that space of maybe the customer will ring me, maybe I'll ring them, maybe I'll drop them an email, and you get all that sort of confusion and uncertainty. And before you know it, you actually feel like you've asked yourself that many times, should I call them? Should I email them? Should I text them? What should I text them? What would I say to them? Do you know what? I think I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's another tomorrow and another tomorrow. And then you get to the point of saying, it's too embarrassing to ring them now. It's been ages. And it's all just fizzled away. But it's all because there isn't that clarity or certainty of what the very next step is going to be. So, as an example, I'll talk you through my sales process, because a process could have a number of different steps in it. It might involve you sending out information. It might involve the potential customer sending information to you. It could involve calls. It could involve meetings, various different elements like that. So here's my very typical process is I will usually arrange a fairly quick initial call with somebody, 15 to 20 minutes, that just gives us both the chance to check, do we feel like there's a connection? Are we on the same wavelength? Do we actually want to invest the time to find out whether this could work for us? So quick call first of all. Then I will usually send the potential customer a business background questionnaire, which they send back to me, and that's to kind of get them really thinking about what they want to talk to me about, but also give me some very useful information about their business, about what their challenges are, and about how I might be able to help them. So that's my second step, is a short, easy to complete questionnaire, not a massive jump through lots of hoops one. My step 3 is that we would then arrange a longer call or a meeting. Remember those things, physical meetings? We'd have a longer call or meeting to then decide whether I'm the right person for them, they're the right client for me, and we want to go ahead and work together. Now, the next step is really important, that at that meeting or on that call, I'm always going to ask that customer whether they would like to go ahead and work with me, as long as I want to work with them, of course. But I'm never going to leave that meeting or that call without asking the question, because that's the moment where we both then have clarity. And it's fine for them to say no, that's not a problem, but it's much better for them to say no at that point than for us both to walk away with complete uncertainty and not be sure what's happening next. Now, if the customer at that point says to me that they want some time to think about it, this is where it's really important to agree a very clear next step with them, so you don't get into that place of total uncertainty. So I would usually then ask them, how much time would you like to think about it? Do you want a couple of days? Do you want a week? And they would probably say, we want, let's say 3 days or something like that. And I would then go down the route of saying, okay, so 3 days is Thursday, for instance. I would say, great stuff. How about I give you a call on Thursday? I've got time in my diary at 10 or at 2. Does one of those work best for you? and they'll say which one, and they'll say, great, brilliant, I'll give you a call Thursday at 2 and we can chat about the options. So I've not been pushy, I've not been sleazy, but we both have absolute clarity on what's happening next. So that's my biggest tip for you today, is really think about what steps can you put in place that allows you to show yourself and your business in the best light every single time, that helps you give the right information to your customers so they're in a position to make an informed decision about whether to buy, but also so that there is always absolute certainty about what the next step is, so you don't get into that field of who's doing what next and what on earth am I supposed to do. So I hope that's been useful for you today. Please feel free to like, to comment, and of course to come back to me with any comments or feedback. It's always fantastic to actually hear what you think of these videos. Any comments that you've got, any feedback, any questions is absolutely brilliant. And of course, please feel free to share this with anybody else who you think could benefit. Thank you.